Hi guys, hope everyone's doing really well. Rob back for a usual quick video that runs to about 20 minutes, half an hour, you know the score. Just thought I'd come on and say belated thank you to George Scott Spinner One, who sent me some wonderful VCLT. He was very implicit in his messaging, saying that he definitely doesn't want me to reciprocate. Of course I won't, George. I'll just send you something when you least expect it. But no, he's very generous as what he sent me. Stuff that I didn't have, but one or two bits that was on my want list. So really unexpected, but very grateful to receive. So the first one, this is an absolute corker. This is I've just been playing this so much. This is, I think, 2010 album from Robin Williamson, and this is Love Will Remain. So yeah, Robin Williamson, obviously originally from the Incredible String Band. Big fan. I'm going to be honest, his solo material for me is kind of hit and miss. Particularly his first album, I wasn't very keen on. There's one or two really standout tracks on that, but not one that I've really got into. Some of his later 70s ones with his merry band, for me, were a little bit more interesting. But this is superb. I believe this is a kind of paean to his wife and his sort of love of music, and his sort of very kind of diary, I wouldn't say self-confessional, but there's a booklet that comes with it, with some of his and his wife's artwork in it, and it's really wonderful. He used to do some of this with the string band, on some of the albums. You'd see on the jacket there'd be sort of some of these images, obviously with a kind of sort of folklore, sort of Celtic kind of feel, I guess, given his heritage, and obviously the fact that he's of course Scottish. But yeah, really hugely enjoyable, mostly acoustic, with some embellishment on mandolin and so on. But it's really intimate, he does a great version as well of Chapter 24, the Syd Barrett song. And it's just a great listen. Really great album. Enjoying that a lot. Okay, and then the next one, so there's more. This was actually one that I did have on my want list. I'd seen a few times, just hadn't got around to picking it up. But this is Sonny Rollins with the orchestra conducted by Oliver Nelson, and this is the Alfie soundtrack, minus the Scylla song, Burt Bacharach song. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's nice that it's all instrumental. There's nothing there to kind of get in the way of the flow. Nice write-up on the inner there. As with a lot of these jazz albums, you always get all the credits and the background info. Lovely packaging. And this was actually sealed, so this was absolutely brand new. I was absolutely gobsmacked. So thank you again, George. Fantastic, wonderful listen. Sounds fantastic as well. Okay, and then if that wasn't enough, he also sent me a whole bunch of CDs. none of which I was familiar with either. So great, always good to get new music. This one's Chris Isaac, and this is the Baya Sessions. This definitely wasn't one I was familiar with. Obviously, Chris Isaac had the big hit Wicked Game back, I don't know, early 90s was it, I think, a long time ago now. But yeah, I really like this. This has got a kind of, he's kind of sort of rock and roll, but kind of also sort of, he brings it down, quite moody, atmospheric, a baritone kind of Elvis style voice. I guess it's in that kind of style. But yeah, really enjoyable. Okay, and then some classic swamp rock here from Dr. John. This is New Orleans, Distat or Dudda. This one's from 2004. Great, yeah, another good one. Bluesy, but some great arrangements on there as well. A lot of interesting guests. There's B.B. King, Willie Nelson, Randy Newman, Dirty Dozen Dirty Dozen Brass Band. Really sort of huge. Some of the arrangements are just amazing on this. Yeah, and just really cranked it up on my stereo, and was a really good workout for my speakers. So yeah, really enjoyed that one. Great energy on that. So that's Dr. John and New Orleans. Okay, Los Lobos. Very sort of poppy. I don't know what you describe them as. They're not rockabilly, are they? Sort of Tex-Mex sound, maybe a little bit, perhaps. Yeah, not as edgy as a band like Calexico, I guess, but pretty good. Again, great production on it, very upbeat. Another one that I wasn't familiar with. So when was this? I can't read it. I'm not sure when that one came out, but okay. And the last one, an artist I really like. Have a few of his albums. Didn't have this one. So yeah, this is Beck and Sea Change. I think this is from 2001. I think 2002. Quite a languid acoustic, sort of sweeping songs. Because obviously Beck is a chameleon, jack of all trades in terms of style. Different styles, has a very eclectic love of all different types of music, loves to experiment. Yeah, and another one that was really enjoyable. So thank you very much, George. Very much appreciated. And go and check George's channel out if you've not. It's Scott Spinner 1. He's got a lovely laid back style. He loves his jazz, but he's into all kinds of music as well. Yeah, he's a great guy. So head on over there. Okay, so just a few pickups just to run through quickly, stuff that I've picked up over the last couple of weeks. One online, but well, a couple online, rest of them from Ben's. So we'll start with the online ones. Yet another another copy of Bull in the Ming Vase, Roy Harper. The difference with this one, because I've got a sort of UK and American press, is that this is one of his recent reissues on his Science Friction label, which came as a gatefold, which the original of this wasn't. I was kind of a little bit disappointed. I was hoping that there was going to be a kind of bit of a write-up from Roy, a bit of a bio about the history of the album and so on and so forth. I have read about it, but it's just nice to have in the gatefolds. This one didn't. It just went for the sort of studio track layout for the suite on side 2. Still interesting though. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you're interested in Roy Harper, it's a great time at the moment to get them. There's still a few of these on vinyl, these gatefold reissues of his 70s albums available. They're on Amazon. They're all around about 20 quid. So good value, fantastic music. Okay. The next one I got online was this one. This is an album that I've loved for a long time, streamed loads. It hasn't been available at all. The originals go for an absolute fortune and extremely rare. This is Spirogyra, and this is their third album, Bells, Boots and Shambles. Yeah, so this is their third album, their sort of folk, psych folk, progressive folk band from the early 70s. College band. This was the last album where I think the group was reduced to just two of them, the guitarist and songwriter Martin Cockerham, who's vocals and guitar, and Barbara Gaskin on vocals. This is from 1973. That's the gatefold with the lyrics. And it comes on this wonderful sort of opaque, bright green vinyl, which I'm always a bit suspicious of, because you think coloured vinyl, you know, what's the pressing quality going to be like? It actually sounds pretty good. A few pops and ticks, but apart from that, it's pretty good and very well recorded. It's quite a sparse album, I think, compared to their other two, their early material. But out of the three, this is the one that really grabbed me, because it's quite intimate. It's quite bitter, kind of cynical kind of lyrics going on here. The songs are just endlessly interesting, quite dark in places. Yeah, Old Boot Wine I absolutely love. Furthest Point is great. Sergeant Says, fantastic. Yeah, but there's not really a bad moment on this. This was a French pressing. This was on Klimt Records. The actual record itself wasn't expensive. The postage was nearly £10, which was ridiculous. Had to come all the way from Greece, of all places. Go figure. So yeah, yeah, I couldn't resist, and it was a lot cheaper than the CD, which I think was about 40 quid or something ridiculous. So this was half that. So a bit of a no-brainer for me. Okay, just a few from Ben's. A long overdue upgrade of the Slade album. Slade, of course, 1972. This is a really minty copy that I couldn't resist. It wasn't expensive, and a bit of a seam split on the bottom there, but that'll just be a quick glue job. But the cover's immaculate. Yeah, I got a really bad copy of this that was just crackles and pops everywhere. I mean, it's a fairly noisy, raucous rock album, but yeah, I'm always on the lookout to get a better copy, and this one fitted the bill. Okay, next one was a really interesting obscure folk album. This is Morning Glory. Morning Phase. Morning Glory. Where did that come from? Oh my God. On the Sealy Court label, it's an independent label that's kind of dedicated to reissuing impossibly rare, just sort of, you know, obscure records that were all privately pressed, where sort of original copies were in the tens rather than the hundreds, and interestingly, it actually tells you on the back a few facts about just how rare they were. So this was recorded in 1971. I think it was their one and only album. The estimated value, I think, is £5,000 plus. If you can find an original copy, but that's probably highly unlikely, seeing as there are only estimated between 25 and 50 copies ever made. And as is the way with a lot of these obscure artists, you sort of, you find out little sort of, sound bites about the band members, and they haven't even managed to keep the original copies of the records. They've lost them or given them away or presents or whatever, and never to get them again until, of course, they're reissued like this. So this is another kind of college band that were together for a few years, ups and downs, sort of broke up, played various gigs, and then finally got around to recording this in 1971. It's very nice. It's a really nice album. Production's not fantastic on it, but the spirit is definitely there with the music. The opener, Ring Out the Bells, is fantastic. There's actually only 3 tracks, but there's this, which is the Celebration, the Illusion, and on the other side, the Vast Putrescence. It's a great name. But they're all kind of in, each track's got sort of 2 or 3 parts to it. They're all kind of segues in. Very acoustic. I think Sandy Denny co-wrote Ring Out the Bells, the opening track, which is probably my favourite. Really good upbeat, fantastic acoustic guitar on there. Wonderful August song that comes second is a close second as well. That's just beautiful, languid. I think they're bringing out titles of these all the time. Ben tends to pick them up because they're not particularly expensive, and even though some of them you can't stream because they're not expensive, they're kind of worth taking a punt on. So yeah, that's Morning Phase. Okay, and the last one, another one for my Harry Nilsson collection. I can't believe I didn't have this record, so when I saw a minty copy of Ben's, I had to pick this up. This is Nilsson Sings Newman. It's all of about 25 minutes long, the whole album, but it's just, everyone is a gem. You've got Randy Newman obviously playing the keys. Nilsson is in fantastic voice on this. They're just sublime. I don't know, it's hard to pick out tracks because they're all great. Dayton, Ohio, 1903 is fantastic. Living Without You. The beautiful, achingly beautiful I'll Be Home. Wonderful, wonderful song. Fantastic album. And that's it, guys. Okay. Where are we? Under 20 minutes. Fantastic. Okay. Hope everyone's doing really well. You're going to have a great weekend, whatever you're up to. There's some new channels that seem to be appearing sort of thick and fast in the wake of Rob Walker's vinyl tag. A lot of really interesting channels starting up. I can't give shout outs because I can't remember them, but I will be subscribing to 1 or 2 of them. And we'll be keeping a close eye because there are some really interesting new channels coming along. So 2023 for the VC is looking good. Okay, take care of yourselves, and I'll speak to you again soon. All the best. Bye-bye.